Welcome back. Nvidia beat expectations in its second quarter earnings report, but came in slightly under estimates for its data center revenue. Let's show you the numbers. The chip maker brought in $46.7 billion in Q2. Its data center revenue was $41.1 billion, just shy of the $41.3 forecast from analysts. Axios business reporter Nathan Bomey joins me now with what this really means. He's joining us from Arlington. Nathan, good morning. So did Nvidia do enough to impress Wall Street? Those numbers are staggering, I think, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, staggering numbers, but Wall Street has become used to staggering numbers from Nvidia. It feels like every quarter they end up exceeding expectations. And this quarter, the numbers were very solid, but it didn't necessarily knock the socks off of investors. So you did see Nvidia stock back up just a little bit after hours yesterday, because investors are still looking to see, is this an AI bubble? And if it is, that could pose issues for Nvidia. They insisted on the call. They're still seeing strong demand, however.
Now, viewers should be aware that Nvidia makes a lot of the hardware and some, I believe, the software behind a lot of artificial intelligence systems. In many ways, it's the backbone of AI for many big companies. But how are trade tensions between the U.S. and China influencing the company and complicating the picture?
Yeah, this is becoming a pretty significant issue because China is obviously a massive market for AI infrastructure, and the tension between the Trump administration and Xi Jinping's administration in China has led to basically a complete shutdown in sales of this H2O AI chip to China. This is the chip that the US is licensed to be able to sell China now because they made a deal with the Trump administration to be able to give them 15% of the sales. Very unusual deal. But China basically has said at this point they're not interested in those chips. They don't want their companies to buy them because they're upset about maybe the security or upset about the fact that this isn't the top AI chip that Nvidia sells. And so at this point, Nvidia's not selling any of those to China, and they want to continue to they want to resume, but at this point there's no revenue there. So they've said if they're able to continue to do that, they could see another $3 to $5 billion in revenue in the next quarter.
And so what does this signal for America's position in the race for AI dominance? Because as we speak with experts, they always say it's like a race between the US and China. It's unclear who's ahead or what really would count as proving that either side is ahead. How do you see it?
Well, Jensen Huang, of course, the CEO of Nvidia, who some people have called the godfather of AI, he says that the Chinese market is so lucrative that the American AI companies can simply not afford to not be involved in that market. He says it could be a $50 billion market, and says that AI sales to China will only help the U.S. economy. So, of course, the alternative perspective is that there's a major national security risk there, and we don't want to boost Chinese technology, which could have enabled them in a military capacity. So it's a debate that's ongoing, but from an economic perspective, we know where the American companies stand.
And in our last few seconds with you, just help our viewers understand why the data center revenue from Nvidia matters so much and is such a crucial part of this puzzle.
Yeah, this is bordering on 90% of the company's revenue at this point, because this is the infrastructure that companies like Microsoft and Amazon are investing so heavily in, because it's the infrastructure that runs things like ChatGPT and all these AI bots and all this AI software essentially that is powering this new economy. So these companies need these chips in heaps, and so if they can't get them from Nvidia, they'd have to get them from someone else.
All right, interesting stuff. A new world we're exploring here. Nathan Bomey, we appreciate your time.